National affairs commentator Doug Herbert joins us now. Doug, as we saw there, the Ukrainians seem to be gaining back some ground, but it's hard to see exactly where the conflict stands.
Yeah, the fog of war is just that. It's the fog of war. The narratives that we have, we can't absolutely be positive that that reflects some of the realities on the ground. But what we can say with a lot of certainty is that the Russian military campaign is not going according to plan, contrary to what Vladimir Putin has insisted in his speeches. And to the contrary, as the ground forces in Russia have stalled, have been bogged down, even reports of some of the Russian soldiers getting frostbite, of their troop levels actually being depleted to around 90% of the original invasion force, which would really hamper their fighting ability. As all of that has happened with the ground infantry, so to speak, and the tank battalions, you've had basically the aerial and artillery fire campaign, where you've seen, and in Mariupol being the emblematic martyr, if you will, city, being literally pounded into submission. And these are not military targets being pounded into submission. It is the blueprint we've seen Russia wage in Syria and Chechnya, pounding civilians, terrorizing entire civilian populations to the point that these cities have no choice but to surrender, as the Russians would see it. It's absolutely astounding in a sense. Vladimir Putin, he's a native of St. Petersburg. He grew up in that city, St. Petersburg, which was notoriously laid siege to itself for 900 days during the Second World War by the Nazis. The residents survived eating rats and scraps and any which way. And he's applying the same sort of mentality, this siege mentality, to cities across Ukraine right now. Mariupol, obviously, now being the worst hit, and like I said, the siege that we've seen in Chechnya and Syria as well. We are seeing more reliance by Russia on non-precision bombs, which also intelligence reports suggest they're running low on. So they're using the so-called unguided bombs, the dumb bombs, as they're called, and the heavy artillery. So there's less discrimination, or no discrimination, if you will, in the targets are being hit. And we've seen it in hospitals, in schools, in residential buildings, in theaters, one day after the next, hour after hour, being hit with devastating consequences, and it keeps going on with no end in sight.